it's like he's gangster, right? But he just has this very peaceful gangster thing about him that's very intriguing. You know what I'm saying? The charisma, like just from even when he's on interviews and things like that, it's all spills over to the music. You know what I'm saying? His like how he could be funny, like all of that stuff, man. It's like, and I'm really with you on like whatever he's thinking or creatively, he puts it out without approval or whatever. He's like, nah, this is what I want to make. This is what I'm gonna do, and this is how I'm gonna do it. So yeah, man, this one really is a really good feel good album.
Dead End Hip Hop album review. Vince Staples, Dark Times. It's not the first time that we've covered Vince Staples. We have covered damn near every project of Vince Staples. So we fuck with Vince Staples over here on Dead End Hip Hop. But if you fuck with our reviews, make sure you go subscribe to DE365, your daily dose of music content. Me and Ken, we put in a lot of work over there. You know what I'm saying? So go subscribe, and we appreciate that. Today we have a special guest. Well, he's not that special because he's been on here a lot.
Damn.
Hey, look, man,
like you ain't
real,
special,
man.
Motherfucker.
I keep it real. He part of the Dead End Hip Hop family.
Motherfucker in the house. That's all.
You should know what his name is. I ain't gonna say his name. You should know. And if you don't know, go back and watch some other reviews. But Vince Staples. Look, this is where I'm gonna start off the review.
Oh boy.
What?
So black and blue. That's where you started.
Yeah, that is where he started.
Man, that shit is stuck in my head.
He's in his bag. Look,
yeah.
My overview when I listened to this album and I let it play again, I was like, yo, Vince Staples is tapped into his creativity on all fucking levels. Yeah. Like if it's in his brain right now, he's in a zone where he can manifest it and it's to perfection. And
not just musically, but now he's doing
the shit on Netflix.
Shit. Yeah.
Like, bro, like he is so like just zoned in. And this album, I feel like he's been in that mode now for a little bit, but this album like exemplifies that. Like no features. This is not made for the radio. This has I don't give a fuck what you think about what I'm doing, because this is what I'm doing. Either you're gonna fuck with it or you're not. And it has like that air of ego, but not in a bad way. You know, ego is always used in a negative way, but nah, it's just he's extremely confident in what he believes in. You know what I'm saying? Even how, you know, years ago he was talking about, I don't study them old niggas and this, that, and the third, whatever. Like he was confident in that. And it's like, if this is the type of music that you making without studying, nigga, don't study. Don't, like, just whatever it is, bro. Like if it's in you, just let it out. You know what I'm saying? Because if this is the byproduct of that, bro, like Vince Staples is making grown people music. And I feel like, you know, Modest, you talked about the Netflix shit and everything that he's doing. I think he's doing that with music. Like every song is so vivid. It's so, what was that? He paints the picture.
It's a story.
It's a story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's such a LA story, and we've heard it before, but not the way he's doing it now. And I think it is part of his maturity just as a man that we're hearing in it. But this is a fucking amazing project. There's certain people I'm like, how do you get better? Okay, cool. You know, this is a great like Vince is one of these hip hop artists, in my opinion, that continuously raises the bar with each project drop. And I don't know what else he can do. Whatever
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. No,
I was gonna say, because Ramona Park Broke My Heart was like amazing.
Yeah.
And then like you drop this afterwards, it's like, damn, bro. I'm with you, man. Like the creativity part, man, stellar, bro.
Yes.
Stellar. Like, and it's very like cinematic.
Yes.
That's one of the things I take away from his music, man. It's very cinematic. The way he raps, the way he tells stories. I really mess with. Like he's like the most positive gangster I know. like it's like, you know, he's gangster, right? But he just has this very peaceful gangster thing about him that's very intriguing. You know what I'm saying? The charisma, like just from even when he's on interviews and things like that, it's all spills over to the music. You know what I'm saying? His like how he could be funny, like all of that stuff, man. It's like, and I'm really with you on like whatever he's thinking or creatively, he puts it out without approval or whatever. He's like, nah, this is what I want to make. This is what I'm gonna do, and this is how I'm gonna do it. So yeah, man, this one really is a really good feel good album. Like the Black and Blue, like I was just the melodies on that. Government Cheese was dope. Children's Song, we already know.
Yes. When you say feel good,
yeah,
like just the sound,
like the sound of it. Yeah,
it's this very, very morbid album.
It is, but I'm saying it feels good. That's what I'm saying. It's weird. Like I think that's why I use the word cinematic, because you know how you can watch like melancholy stuff and like I feel like it has that. That's what I'm saying. He's like a peaceful like gangster dude. Like you know what I'm saying? Like because it is a darkness to it. You know, so I agree. But tap into that though.
Don't play with my crib and go play with your kids.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. See, he stopped me before I was about to talk about Children's Song. Yeah. And I was just like, yeah, like, don't get the shit twisted.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Crib and go play with your kids.
I love that, man. Yep. I love that. That's so me. Like I could come off super, chill, but don't fucking play with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? For real. Like on some real shit. Y'all know that. I mean, from playing basketball with me. But yeah, man, that's what I really like about him. But yeah, I wanted you to tap into that a little bit more though.
Right. So the first time I listened to this album, I felt like I was like in the High Museum. And I was like standing in front of like an art exhibit. Yeah. And I'm just staring at like, what am I listening to? Because when it first dropped, it dropped early. Normally most albums don't drop like 11 p.m. midnight on like Thursday night, but this one dropped at like 7. So you dropped like 3 hours early. I wasn't in a rush to hear it because Vince Staples, the self-titled album, and then Ramona Park Broke My Heart, like I was saying, was so great. There's no way he can top those. So, I was kind of like, I might be a little disappointed, but I fuck with Vince. I'm gonna get to it. And then I just saw all the reaction. Everyone was like kind of talking about it. And I was like, I'd never seen this many people talk about a Vince Staples album. Yeah. Maybe a show, maybe it's an interview, maybe it's other things he might go viral for. But his music, the thing Beezy is known for the least, never. So when I finally sat back and listened to it, I was like, whoa, this is amazing. I don't know how you top himself. There's so many layers and you kind of get peeled back to it. I was like really listening to the words. I was like,
I mean, it's called Dark Times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
With a black ass cover.
Yeah.
Right. Like the very first words you hear is to live is to be like a nigga in the tree. And I was like, oh. Yeah. And then you really start listening like what these songs, so many songs about death.
Hey, it feels good to be a free man with clenched hands. A free man with clenched hands. I was like, ooh.
And it's like he really saying some shit, but he's saying it in such a Etouffee is such a uplifting song. Like you think I can hear the song on the radio. I can hear the song right. Being like, oh, okay. But then you really listen to what he's saying. He's like, oh no, this is depressing almost. But it's an amazing album.
Yeah, I like the twist that he did with Government Cheese. Like pretty much kind of like, times get hard, but still enjoy life, still smile. Like don't forget to smile, nigga. Like whatever. I like that. I like that. Shame on the Devil. I know that was a single. I was like, I'm not gonna listen to nothing until the album drops. So Shame on the Devil was dope as fuck. The joint, I can't pronounce this. The joint after. Right after.
Etouffee?
It's French. It's Etouffee.
Etouffee? Okay.
He said it's
yeah, that shit was dope.
You see, he had to do the hand motion.
Yeah, he did. He did the hand motion like a motherfucker.
Etouffee.
Yeah.
Like you can't just say it, right?
Yeah, that shit.
It was the African French too. It wasn't the white French. It was the African French. He did Etouffee.
That sounded like a joint that joint sounded like that was dope. That sounded like that's some been on FM, the album FM. That sounded exactly like that. But I'm with you. Like when I was like, okay, is he? Because I like the last two projects, the subtitle and Mona Park Broke My Heart, and I was like, man, is he? Where is he gonna go? And yeah, this shit. Radio was dope as hell. Like a lot, and then it had that spoken word at the end. The way it closed it out, that shit was man. Like
it loops back,
and it loops back. Yeah, like this shit, man. Yeah, I think right now it could be recent, but I think this is better than those last two projects, and I really like those last two projects. And yeah, this shit was really good from beginning to end. Like I was like, damn, Vince, like musically, I don't know, he's in this pocket creatively right now, and you could tell he's definitely gotten a lot mature over the years. If you listen to like his older stuff to now, it's like, yeah, dude's growing up, dude's looking at life a whole lot different. I always fuck with Vince Staples interviews, so it's like, yeah. So I know I'm gonna kind of get some of that in the music as well. So, yeah, man, Vince Staples, this shit dope. This shit dope.
Cam, before you go, you know that this marks the end of an era for Vince.
Yep.
Last album
on Def Jam.
Album on Def Jam. Do you think, before you get into it, do you think that this does anything to Vince? Like, is this good, bad, indifferent? Like,
I don't know. I think it was put out there. I think it was put out there for a reason. I think that Vince is probably one of the most dangerous artists in hip hop right now.
Please explain.
Well, his interviews, you know, if you look at the things he had to say about the Drake Kendrick beef, that's not what people really want people to
But he was speaking on some real shit.
Right. Nobody want to talk about that, but here go Vince, like,
we can do better.
Yeah, it's like, what are y'all doing?
We got other shit to worry about. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all worry about this shit. We got this shit going on for us artists. Like, come on now.
Yep. He's quick to point out the parlor tricks and everything that's going on in the industry. Conspiracy. It's almost like it's almost like you say he's known least for his music. But why is that? Why is he known for the interviews and not the music? You know, as it seems in you know, the hip hop space. You know, maybe he's being kind of held down because his ability to think and lead people. I mean, there were reference to the top Pac on here. I think it was one of the. He was like, I'd rather be an NG. I knew you were catching. You probably caught it too.
You know, I caught it.
Yeah. Like
that. You referenced road to concrete.
Oh, we also tried Blue and XL.
On radio. Yeah. Talking about it changed his life when he heard.
Yeah. So you know, I think about that because Vince, there is a level of maturity that you can hear in his music from album to album to album, and I thought it was interesting on Itufe. I think it was Itufe. Is that the one where he said Big Fish? When he mentioned about people saying that? Yeah, he's falling off.
Since 2015.
Since Big Fish, his music has been weak now. So the perception of Vince, you know, as an artist, you know, even he sees that, right? And shit, he kind of talked about it on the show a little bit, right? It was kind of referenced on the show. Yeah, he was on the show.
It was.
Like, here's this artist, but people don't really, know him for that. Like, he can walk around the street.
Yeah.
The thing I got from this
unassuming.
Album, is that, the production is great. He's one of the best writers out of the current crop of present day MCs that we have.
Yeah.
This album is so finely crafted and thoughtfully constructed. And it feels like it's in this tight box.
35 minutes, perfect. I love it.
But it's like there's no wasted space, sound, or lyric.
None.
And everything meshes so well. And then there was one track, and I think it was Freeman, where I was like, that sounds like an old school 90s hip hop, West Coast hip hop beat that Snoop, when he was like with like the East Siders, would have rapped over.
Yeah.
See, you know.
If you know.
Y'all know. But when Snoop was on that little East Siders wave, and they used to have those type of beats, Snoop, Daz and stuff like that, the Dog Pound, they would have these kind of really unassuming West Coast beats that has this type of funk to it. And
he's good for pulling that. He's good.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and it's just like, it's not an obvious sound, West Coast sound that we know, like not like us.
Which was interesting on that. What's it called? Do it again.
Etouffee.
He had that New Orleans bounce at the end because he was shouting out New Orleans. I'm like, oh shit, he got a little New Orleans bounce at the end. So yeah, Vince tapped in on the sound, man. I like that.
Where they at? Get the gag.
Yeah. It's really incredible listening to this. You kind of I felt like I was being pulled into the world that's in here, and that the things that was in here, and the messaging that was in here, obvious and not so obvious, just with Black and Blue, and him talking about just being kind of famous and being in another position now, as opposed to when he first started out with Hell Can Wait, and now look at it. Like, there's a level of success that comes with that. But also, he's here, and there are other people that's like below him elsewhere. It was like, I want y'all with me. And there's still these things that's happening in the world that I need to point out, that I feel compelled to point out. And almost like there's a responsibility that comes with this. Yeah. So yeah, man, it's really, really interesting. And it's like, it's another level above what he already did. It's like, where do you go from here?
Ken, when you were talking, it really made me think, like when you said that, this is tightly constructed. There's not many artists that allow you to view directly from their perspective and then have a macro of the world that they created. Because when you listen to it, you can imagine, just like Ramona Park to a degree, but this does it better, where you can imagine this world and this life that he's living through. But you see it directly from his perspective, but you also see it outside looking in. And you only get that in video. There's not many artists that can convey that in a music sense and for everybody to virtually see the same thing.
And it's a choice by bookending it the way he did, with the opening track, which was what, 30s, less than a minute, and then the closing with the monologue. Like, here's a clear opening, here's a clear ending, and then, you know, you can repeat it. But this is it. Like, it's right up in the air, and the sequencing is
perfect.
Is right in line with it too.
Did y'all watch his Apple Music interview?
I saw bits and pieces.
On there, he spoke about how this is the first time he think he actually completed the album. Like, he always thought his other albums weren't finished. He was like, Summertime 06, he's like, that one was good, but it wasn't supposed to be a double album. They told me I made a double album because they said they'd give me more money, and they didn't. And then he said, but his self-titled album, it's like, it's about probably 1 or 2 songs on, too many songs on there. Well, I could have added 2 more songs, and then the last album was like, it just wasn't right. This was the first time I think I got it right. Like,
this shit perfect.
Everything I wanted to do on the album, I finally did with this one.
It sound like it.
Damn.
It sound like it.
Yeah.
So I ain't seen nobody mention Little Homies.
Oh shit.
Mention Little Homies.
Yeah, go ahead. Go talk about it.
I mean, hey, I'm just saying, cause I don't know what it is. And I've been saying this all week.
Go ahead and say it.
Bro. That man has put literal crack in that track to the hook.
No, yeah.
And then going back to kind of like, you know, what Rod and Ashley was saying about, like, you know, how the fact that it's a dark album, but it's weird because it is dark. He does like go over like a lot of serious, you know, and personal type of things.
Yeah.
It's another album that we got in this year where artists is really peeling back layers. And one of the things I noticed that even with it being dark, from Shame on the Devil, E2Fae, Little Homies, all these type of things, Government Cheese, it's always some positive affirmation kind of tied into there. And I don't think I've ever really heard an artist take that route. Because usually when you see an album cover like that and the title, it's just, you all make it so this is about to be some real dark, heavy shit. And it was to a degree, but I think for him to be able to do that but make it this accessible and make it so where it gets stuck in your head, but you're also still paying attention to the lyrics, I think that's something that's very hard to do as artists.
Well,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, because on that one, that's where he said, last time niggas tried me, bang bang, it was RIPs and airbrush tees. Like, I was bro. That's what I'm saying. Don't try it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think the album's about like what happens after you die. I think he dies in that song. He's talking about like, he's talking to his little homie like, yeah, I tried to ride around and get somebody. Now I'm getting all the money there. Like, oh, I died, and now I'm getting all the love and admiration. Yeah. After I died, so I think this whole album is really about like the beauty and blackness, and like it's so hard being black. You got to deal with all the shit, but like it's still beauty in it. You got to find it's hard, but you got to find the love.
It could be worse.
Government Cheese is another.
Right.
A lot of songs is a prime example of that.
Yeah, it feels good to be a free man with clenched fists.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm free, but it's like, I'm not. You know, I think Rob makes a good point. Well, all y'all make a good point when y'all mention that, but Rob kind of put it out there in terms of like sonically, like how it sounds. Because to your point, Sonny, like when I looked at the title and looked at the album artwork, I'm like, oh shit. God damn, what are we about to do here? But then you get to E2Fae, and then you get to Little Homies, and you get these other joints that has a little bounce to it, you know? And but there's the messaging in it. And if you kind of think about, it's almost like a reversal of hip hop to a degree when it comes to the negative parts of it. You know, where there's a lot of, you know, shake your ass and this stuff, the misogyny, the violence and stuff, but it's over a banging ass beat. And you don't know that you're being programmed with all of these negative things. And then you go out and behave in that way because you're hearing it. It's like, yeah, I'm going to give you guys some true messaging over this dope ass beat. And I'm going to be programming you to think in a different way, hopefully, that you can walk away from. And then you'll be thinking about the things that I'm saying and that you'll react and behave or change your perspective on life moving forward. It's real clever.
It's stuck in my head for forever when we were doing our top 5 mid-year, and he hopped in our chat, and I had Conway in my top 5. I want to say I had a 1. He was just like, yeah, you know, guns and all that. We off that. or whatever. I was just like, ever since then, like I just been like, I've always been conscious
Damn,
of it.
how come I don't remember that? Damn,
You know, I don't know if you were
I
here,
do.
but yeah, he hopped in our chat or whatever. And he was in there. Like people saw him in there or whatever. And I was just like, ever since then, I was just like, damn, I'm a lot more conscious. I was already conscious of it.
Yeah.
It is like a guilty pleasure to like some of that stuff, but
We grew up on it.
yeah, we grew up on it, and
Yeah.
like that's just I'm still kind of drawn to it. But I like that. That in itself says a lot, right? You know what I'm saying? That we offer that type of rap. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, we were part of. Definitely, I know I was like when it went from this is well documented positive hip hop. And their conspiracy about it to the shift.
Yeah.
When
gangsta rap,
NWA stuff came on. So yeah.
So let me ask this real quick around the room. Does this have high replay value for y'all?
Absolutely.
Yes.
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 I let it roll, bro.
I don't disagree. That definitely high replay value. Is this an album you're recommending?
I think so. I mean the soundscape is just there. Like the children's song, like the first Black and Blue is like so melodic. But like Ashton said, it like some of the morbid dark stuff is just kind of like in there. But I mean, you listen to some of the stuff that did on the radio that was popular. It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I definitely can see. I think you said it's not. He didn't have any radio hits on here, but I could hear some of the stuff.
Oh, I could hear some of the stuff on the radio.
It's too fake. That could be a radio hit. Yeah, that could be a radio hit.
And I think Vince does an amazing job of the duality of what you hear and what I'm talking about don't always mesh until you get the understanding of what I'm doing, and then it's perfect. You know what I'm saying? So like somebody that's just gonna listen to it on the surface can come away with it sounding happy, but it's morbid than a motherfucker because being black in LA is a lot of motherfuckers don't make it out.
And the other thing that helps is this.
But we have a good time trying to enjoy life.
100%.
For sure. And it's not all kilter either. Like
It's not.
It's just
It's
him
not.
just straight rapping. It's easier to follow. It's crazy because it's easy to follow, but the messaging is still there. So you guys still got to tap in to see what he's actually saying. So that's what's really dope about him too. Like he can say stuff so plainly. But still have a way that you got to really look into what he's actually saying. Like, man, I really rock with this, bro.
I'm definitely recommendable for me. I would
Right.
highly encourage people to listen to it. I would definitely send this out for folks to listen to for sure.
But Beezy, you recommending this?
Yes.
Ashton?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Vince isn't a lyrical miracle rapper, but he's so clever for what he says. That's like, you listen, oh, that's cool. Then like you really think about what he's saying. It's like, oh yeah, no, he's really saying something.
Another one of those intentional rappers, man.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I love that about my rappers. Like, like that they're intentional with the words.
Do y'all think this is his most accessible album?
I think FM was.
I think FM.
FM was.
I wouldn't say the most accessible, but I think it's accessible as hell.
It's just a thought I had like this with this being his last album on Def Jam. I was like, huh. And did you finally decide to make an album we got radio songs on there? I'm sure that it was like, oh, now you want to do this?
That label stuff, I think that shit dead now. I mean, I don't think that it don't mean anything no more. Like I'm signed to Def Jam. Like it's we've seen over the last 15 years now, like artists have made a name and the fan base just
on themselves.
On themselves without even having a label.
So I got one more question. It's pretty much just directly at Rob.
Oh shit.
I'm in my Rob ad real quick behind the camera, right? But no, I just want to know. So with government cheese specifically, I'm trying to make sure I'm not tripping. Am I the only one that got like Lupe Fiasco, the cool vibes from that?
Ooh.
Just from like the production.
I'm trying to see if I got. I could definitely see Lupe the cool vibes because Lupe has some of that same type of light music, but still some dark stuff in it. So I feel that. Yeah, I like that.
I was thinking like either cool, like a Drogas Way, something like that, something in that area.
Nah, for sure. I definitely can feel that.
Did you peep the synth lead from Blue Suede? One of his pre-songs, he used the same synths. In fact, right before I came in, me and my homie Dred, we was talking about the album, and he was saying like, I think every song he's playing homage like one of his previous era's events, with especially since the last song of him rapping is Free Man, and then you hear as you feel like you said, you can hear that kind of be like an FM government cheese has Blue Suede in it, so it's like, is he like doing that with it too? But we like 15 minutes before I got in the car to go back, I was like, damn it, every time I listen to this album, I get like a whole different perspective of it. I was like, you kind of just sit with it.
And there's probably a double meaning to Freeman being the last song and this being his last album on the record label.
Right.
Yep. Like Rod said, he's intentional.
But he said nothing even matters. Shout out to the Lauryn Hill.
Yep.
And just one of the standout joints on that government cheese when he says, had to leave my niggas hanging hard to leave my niggas hanging when you're the money tree. Something about the gutter that make us hate each other. Had to bury my older brother if it humbled me, pulling his plug like a trick from under my sleeve. Just a luck of the draw. Don't know who shuffled the cards. Heard his name is God. Just picked up when I call right now. It's free of charge. Like this nigga saying stuff like that. You can't just on surface. It sounds like but these niggas saying shit like that, bro. Like.
But do you know how many like scenes that is?
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? Bro, like that's that.
And that's not even where it starts. It starts with when he's talking about his homie in jail and shit. Like that's not even where it started. Like that's just where I started, bro, man.
Yeah, man,
bro.
Vince. Yeah. Look, if you watching, I don't look. First and foremost, I'm gonna say I give you all the props for being an ultra creative, but doing it your way and putting the middle fingers up to anybody that doesn't see it in the way that you see it. I fuck with that heavy. This project and the bag that you've been in, I would say the last 7 years, I don't know if I could compare anybody else to you. I think you have separated yourself from the pack in a very good way, in a very creative, artsy, but real as fuck way. And in all honesty, nobody's competing with that. And typically I want more music, and I do because you're obviously a dope artist, but it's like, I'm cool with your pacing. Like I'm cool with what you mean to hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And I think that it's only gonna continue to grow. I feel in a weird space because I really feel like I'm talking to you. I typically don't. I just say what I want to say. But Vince, like, I really fuck with where you are and where you're going creatively. And I think the culture needs it because everybody's going right and you're a hard fucking left, but it's so needed. But that's all I got.
Vince Staples, if you're watching, incredible body of work. One of the few artists that I look forward to when you drop an album. Like if you drop an album, it's like, oh, I need to listen to that damn near right away. Because it's always interesting what you're going to talk about, the thoughts and ideas that you have that you want to share with us, just off your observations of the world. I think you're definitely one of the, as I said earlier, one of the greatest writers that we have, of this current breed of MCs that's out. And keep doing that and keep finding ways to make it listenable and enjoyable, palatable for people. I think is really dope as well. I don't know if you think you're for the people, but I appreciate you being for the people. I think that's dope. And whatever you do, don't try to buy NBC. That's all I'm saying.
You stupid as hell. Lord have mercy.
Vince Staples, if you're watching, another dope project, bro. Like, I think one of the things we're not even like saying here is like, you're dropping these type of projects on a major level, late. Like he's dropping this type of shit on Def Jam, like consistently dropping shit like this on Def Jam, bro. Like what the fuck? So yeah, man, just that. Hats off to you for that, man. Just kind of staying true to who you are, true to what you want to do. Like I love, like Feefo said, man. Just obviously, man, you're super creative, and you just put that to pen and pad, whether that's musically or like on the screen. So that's always dope. And I just like how, man, you just come off just like a regular nigga, like, you know what I'm saying? But like you deep, don't he just like
not pretentious, no jewelry, no flashy.
People talk about J. Cole and how he just like, Vince Staples, bro. This nigga's just real like t-shirt, whatever. Like he's not flashy, like man, like nah, man. I really appreciate that about you, man. That's like my type shit. Like my whole company is called Modest Media, so I'm all about the humble modesty shit, man. And I think that you exude that, but still, when you say something, you say it with a passion. So I really appreciate that about you and your music, man. So just thank you for another dope project I'm gonna be playing for the rest of the year. Yeah, man, keep doing you, man. I'm looking forward to see what you do. I guess, I don't know if he's re-signing with Def Jam or anything, but if you do something outside, I could just imagine what you do outside of the label, bro. Like, so yeah, man, really looking forward to that. So Hey man, thanks for Dark Times, and yeah, I'm still dissecting it, and yeah, man, appreciate it.
He gonna hit him with the Magic Johnson meme.
I'm not gonna be here.
Oh man, I thought when you dropped your self-titled album, I thought that was your magnum opus, and then you dropped Ramona Pop Broke My Heart, and I thought, nah, this is it. This one's better, and then you dropped this. So at this point, I don't really have any expectations from you because you always surpass them. You currently you're my favorite artist, and I just can't wait to see what you do next, man. You know, you're really in that black pool of genius right now. So wherever you at, I want you to just stay right there and just more. That's all I got. I just want more.
Yes, Vince Staples, you're watching great body of work. I think, you know, you along with Tyler Creator are like a perfect example of like artist growth, like just seeing artists just from the beginning to like now, seeing the transition that you've been making with each album, each project you release. Nothing sounds the same. Like y'all two, just particularly the first two artists I think of, and I just think of like this progression, just like this type of artist is like, man, this dude has progressed throughout his whole career, and you definitely, I think your name should be mentioned as one of those artists that's like the leading the charge for that. So yeah, props to you, bruh. So yeah, this is your last album of Def Jam. You still been making great. Your last 7 projects on them still been great. So ain't no telling what you might do, or if you might be motivated. You seem like you just might be like, man, fuck this rap shit. I can see you doing some shit like that, and we would still love your discography. But y'all, you know, I'm interested if you're going to, you know, with your creativeness is going to be once you now that you off the label and you just got freedom to do whatever you want to do. So musically, I want to see what you do after that. But yeah, keep up the great work. I love your interviews. I always love your fucking interviews, bro. Love it. Your music and interviews should be just as popular. I feel like sometimes, I think one of y'all mentioned like his interviews kind of sometimes outweigh his music, which it should be right there, because you get some of that in your music. Like if you watch the interviews, people listen to his music, you're gonna get that too. So yeah, shout out to you, bro, man. Hope you wish you much success.